Today I'm here with the Young Harris Men's Lacrosse Program for another one of the preseason interviews for spring sports this semester. I'm joined by Head Coach Branden Geldart, Ben Soenen, Lukus Olson, and Tommy Chriszt. This team last year in 2024 in the Conference Carolinas debut made the tournament and is looking to make noise once again this year. Coach, let's start talking about what this 2025 team looks like. So you're returning a lot of seniors who have rebuilt the program, really. You also added a large freshman class. What can we expect from the team in 2025?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have a lot of impactful players that have experienced a lot of games. It's pretty rare that you have a program with players that have 4 years of on-the-field experience, so I'm very excited to see how that pans out. And then a lot of young guns that are really ready to make their impact and be competitive. So I'm very excited about how we show up and how we play.
Absolutely, this group has so much potential. And I want to ask you players, so there's a lot of benefits of being a spring sport. You get to play in the fall and really learn and make team chemistry with each other. How was fall training for you guys?
Fall was awesome for us, I think. This time it was a little more, we had the highest GPA that we've ever had in a semester. I think the freshmen came in a little bit more bought in than they have in the fall, and it was kind of easy to bring them along with us than it has been.
And Luke, what was one thing this past semester that you were really working on to be prepared for the spring?
So the fall is really full of learning and coaching and really unseen stuff. It's not out there, but you put your head down and you grind it out. So stick work, weight room, and getting faster, better, stronger.
And Ben, you've been super successful in this program as well. What was one thing that you worked on in the fall to prepare for the spring?
I guess one thing that I really worked on in the fall was just bettering myself in all aspects, on the field and off the field, in the weight room, and just overall building team chemistry with the guys and the new freshmen that came in. I think that's a really important factor in lacrosse, so yeah.
Absolutely, and just last season you set the record for the most caused turnovers in the Young Harris program with 123. That's such a big deal. What does it mean to you to hold that title for this program?
It's an honor to have, and going forward I'm excited to further increase that, but I couldn't have done it without any other guys because they're the ones who push me off the field and on the field, and they make me become a better version of myself every single time I'm on the field with them.
And Luke, so talking about growing from season to season, you've definitely done that. You started out in your first 2 years with just single-digit goals, but you've jumped to double digits in the last year. Talk about that growth from season to season.
Well, thank you, Nicole. I can really just give credit to the guys around me. We've got really talented players, and if it weren't for them pushing me every day and coaches trusting me, I wouldn't have been to where I am today. So the guys around me and coach.
And Tommy, the last accolade that I want to talk about, so you are the third ranked in all of Young Harris Men's Lacrosse for points. Talk about how you were able to prepare for that and how you prepare the younger guys to uphold that standard that you've been living this program.
So in terms of preparing, I've been playing lacrosse since I was 3, because I have 4 older siblings that all played at the same time. So when I was growing up, I started playing. So now, if you think about it, it's been 19 years straight of lacrosse. And kind of wrapping it up, it's like watching and seeing what the highest level people do and being able to watch and then go out and try it myself. I think that was a big part of it. And kind of picking back off what Luke said with bringing people along with me and people keeping me accountable. With the points, most of my points are assists, and that doesn't happen if I pass the ball to Luke and he doesn't score. So when you look at the points and that I'm third career most or whatever, you have to keep in mind that I wouldn't be there without the people around me finishing the shots that I give them or making plays on their own.
That's such a selfless answer. Coach, you really have some great guys here on and off the field. So if you could talk about their impact on this program for being here for 4 years and what your expectations are for this year.
Yeah, well, they've done a great job developing the program around them. Hats off to them. From their freshman year, sophomore year, going through a lot of adversity, they really bought into creating a higher standard off the field for staying out of trouble. And this year we're really seeing dividends in the academic success and what we really put into that. And then they also create a pretty good team chemistry that Ben touched on a little bit earlier about how they all look out for each other and they all keep each other in line, and you bring in classes of freshman year in and year out that need to learn and figure out how to go through it. And they've done a great job being the leaders really developing that culture off the field. And then that translates on the field, because once you have that connection off the field, those guys really buy into what everyone's doing on the field, how they turn around and put in the work on their own and then show up ready to work when it's time to go as a group. So those two things, I mean, really going in hand, help us be successful. And you throw that in a couple of years in a row, and that's kind of where we root back to the first question where you asked about the excitement for this year is really kind of seeing that turn out and the results that we can get from all that preparation.
That's awesome. And with the season opener just a couple weeks away, what are the biggest strengths that you are expecting to see this season from the whole collective?
Yeah, so big strengths. I mean, we're really prepared for a lot of different things. Going through year in and year out, kind of hitting back on that. They've been taught quite a bit about how to handle certain teams and what they like to do, and they've experienced a lot of teams that we played against, and there are teams that are pretty good at certain aspects of the game. They've gotten a pretty well-rounded experience of playing it, being on the field for all those games. Now we have a little bit of added depth, so I think we have a little bit more energy, a little bit more speed, and that definitely helps us move forward, because it's things we haven't had before. And then you add on to that the conceptual understanding, the game management that they really have after being in tight games and also being in games that they have a pretty good lead, and how to handle the clock and handle certain things that teams are throwing at them. I'm very excited about how they can really face their opponents in the first game. I mean, it's a game that we look forward every year. I talked to Lukus specifically about it, about, hey, do you want to pick certain opponents? And this is one of the opponents that we feel is pretty close to us. That's middle of the pack, SAC, and it's going to be a good barometer for us for the year, but it's also a pretty good team that we can train for and prepare for in the off season. And I think it really gives the guys a hard test as they're going into that first game of the year. It's not going to be a layup, and it's not going to be impossible, and I'm very excited to see how we compete.
Awesome. And one of the external factors that you guys have experienced this year is the new turf. I talked to Soccer about this in the fall. If you guys could just talk about what it's like playing on a new surface.
Sure, Nicole. The field, it's awesome. Shout out Aaron. It's really an upgrade, and we could tell from day one. It's great. It's really great.
Do you guys have anything else to add on that?
I mean, getting something new like that, like think about getting a new toy, is like you automatically get some like adrenaline and excitement from it. So I think coming out there and getting to use something like that, and like for the first time, and it's just kind of carried on through there. But it's really nice, and we all enjoy it.
Yeah, facility boost for sure. The morale of the team, and Aaron would definitely appreciate that shout out. And so, Coach, in your 2025 schedule press release, you had talked about having some challenging opponents on that schedule. How is that going to prepare you for that end of season conference play where those games are really important?
Yeah, I think that it's important to keep your goals in mind when you put together your schedule, and our goal is to really be competing for the conference championship. So we don't want to load our out-of-conference schedule with a lot of easy games, because that doesn't help us prepare for the end of the year when we really want to be winning and making a push. Because when you win that NCAA, you win that conference championship, you actually get automatically bid to the NCAA. So we want to be able to play with teams that are at that level, and you don't get to do that if you don't put them on your out-of-conference schedule. So I know there's sometimes the guys would like an easier schedule, and sometimes the guys want a harder schedule, and I think that we have a pretty healthy mix where we have teams that have been in and out of the top 20 in the past 2 or 3 years. Some of them were right on the cusp of being in the NCAAs last year. So it is challenging, but I think that helps us prepare. And really, when you get to playing at that level, you turn around in conference play, and you're set to be successful one way or the other. And I mean, good teams will show you your flaws, and they'll also, when you have success against them, you're going to be able to see really what's going to pan out in the long run. So I think that it's great for our guys. I'm excited to see them compete against those teams, and I really wouldn't have it any other way with that balance that we have.
And all three of you guys, again, like I mentioned, have been part of this program for so long. You know the ins and outs of it. What is the energy, team atmosphere, kind of culture looking like as the excitement builds up around the season?
Sure, I can start with that. Bringing in a large freshman class helps a lot, boosts the energy. It's especially seen in the weight room in early mornings or in the afternoons after class. It's full. It's full of guys that are energetic and excited to be there. And it's loud, and we're all pushing each other, and it's really awesome to see.
Yeah, pretty much kind of the same thing what Luke was saying, but to speak more so on this senior class, we've all been playing with each other on the field for 4 years straight, and so I definitely think that our chemistry is definitely some of the stronger among different teams, and I think that's one of the greatest aspects of our team.
That's That's rewarding for sure. So before we wrap up, do you guys have any other comments or remarks to make? Maybe like shouting out your social media or anything of that sort?
No, I don't have anything else.
Yeah, show out. Mountain Lions.
Come to our games.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for being part of this preseason interview. The Mountain Lions will kick off their season on February 1st when they head to Anderson University, and then will return to YHC to play Tusculum on February 8th.